633 Oahspe. 8. When they die and enter these heavens they are as festering sores on one another, thousands of millions of them. 9. For 3,000 years have I labored with them, but the abundance of their darkness outmatcheth thy God. 10. What shall I do with them, O Father? How shall thy God deliver so great a carcass of death? 11. But JEHOVIH answered not the prayer of God, left him to consult with other gods in the higher heavens, left him in darkness another 1,000 years. 22. Yej, chief of Orion field, Lud and Gu, Dan 74, enduring 2,600 years, grade 58. 23. Gulianiv, chieftainess, Orion field, Og, Lo in Gia 40, enduring 3,400 years, grade 51. 24. From this time onward there was found no grade in the roadway of the solar phalanx, great serpent, sufficiently dense for the angels of the heavens of the earth. Chapter 3. The time of 1,000 years of darkness. 12. But in Etheria, JEHOVIH spake to his Orion chiefs, saying, As I try mortals, so do I try angels, as I try them, so do I try my gods. Forever and forever do I keep before in the wide regions where travelleth to them the testimony of An all higher. 13. Now it had come to pass on earth that the time of a generation of mortals had risen from 12 years to 80 years. And there were many who lived to be 300 years old. And they had become very large, twice the size of men of this day. But they were without judgment and of little sense. Hardly knew they their own species. And they men bled together, relatives as well as others, so that idiocy and disease were the general fate of the tribes of men, and they were large and strong and prolific. 14. This then that followeth is the grade of declension in the heavens of the earth, that is, after Kishalon had changed the period of generation from 12 years into the upper grades, to wit, 15. Abner, 7th dawn of Dan, enduring 3,200 years in Hastoth, Ethrianagi 7, Hotan, grade 99. 16. Ensini, goddess of Marseph, Etheria, Dan of Gem, enduring 3,000 years, grade 93. 17. Boaz, god of Home, Orion field, Dan of Josh, enduring 2,700 years, grade 88. 18. Deivi, goddess of Wowitsky in Agi 36, Dan of Ruth, enduring 2,900 years, grade 82. 19. Leames, goddess of War in Broke, Dan 40, Orion field, Semsi, enduring 3,000 years, grade 77. 20. Divias, god of Hud in Habak, Gia 22, Neth, enduring 3,100 years, grade 69. 21. Roeazizias, goddess of Tamuk, Bent, one of Hudwouts, enduring 3,070 years, grade 61. Ehovih moved upon the Etherian worlds, Je great serpent. His voice went forth, and amongst the counselors, the high ruling chieftains of the exalted kingdoms in the firmament, he spoke, saying, 2. Hear me, O ye chieftains. Be ye far-seeing in my traveling worlds, and alert to my words. Behold the red star, the earth, hath attained her maturity, but she is rank. As a daughter cometh forth in the prime of life, so standeth the young earth in her glory. For 50,000 years hath she played her part as an ornament of heaven and a harvester of bright souls for my exalted regions in the firmament. 3. Gather together, O ye Orion chiefs, and ye Etherian goddesses, and ye that dwell in the roadway of the great serpent. Call ye a council of my everlasting rulers of worlds, and of them that plant my Ajan gardens and my Jaon fields, and of them that whirl my nebulous vortices in the firmament. 4. The voice of JEHOVIH extended across the wide universe, and those who were high raised in the management of worlds heard and comprehended. 5. And there assembled in the Etherian gardens of Seniah, near the roadway of the solar phalanx, millions of JEHOVIH's highest, and the place was as a park larger than 100 times the earth, and round about on every side lie the crystalline borders of Etherian worlds. And when they were assembled, JEHOVIH spake out of the light inherent, saying, 6. 16 times have my Etherian hosts redeemed the earth and her heavens from darkness into light, and yet ere the end of a cycle she falleth again, and her atmosphere 64 synopsis of 16 cycles. With her. And now it hath come to pass that her heavens are filled with thousands of millions of spirits that know not me in my emancipated worlds. Speak, O ye gods and goddesses. 7. Thereupon Suttelu said, O JEHOVIH, I have heard, I have beholden. Too prolific is the earth, the young daughter of heaven. Too prolific is the red star of the firmament. 8. Next spake Oahspe, saying, Thou hast spoken, O JEHOVIH. Too prolific is the rich earth, O Father. Her mortals are overpowered by her atmospherine hosts. Her people build up cities and nations for a season after dawn, but soon they are overflooded by fetals and druhas, and the mortals devour one another as beasts of prey. 9. Shijong said, Her people have tilled all the soil of the earth and covered it over with cities, but where are they? Her people have been learned in the matters of heaven and earth, but their knowledge is dissipated by the dread hand of war. 10. Duita said, Her people become wise in a day, but on the next they are fools. One generation becometh skilled in books and in knowledge of the sun and moon and stars, and in the mathematics of corporeal things, but a generation followeth, and lo, her people are cannibals again. 11. Gazan said, I have heard, O JEHOVIH. I have witnessed, O Father. The red star is too prolific. She is like a garden too rich. Her products are overgrown, and they fall down and doubly enrich the soil again, to reproduce an imperfect giant stock that is bar ren. So are her sons and daughters, they run all to earthly substances. 12. Luan said, Great Spirit, I have heard, I have seen. We gather the earth's harvests for thee, O JEHOVIH, but they are small. We gather the earth's harvests of dark spirits, O JEHOVIH, and they are 10 times larger. Behold, there is no balance between them. 13. Thus spake the gods and goddesses, till thousands of them had spoken. After that the voice of JEHOVIH spake, saying, 14. Ye are blessed, my sons and daughters. How can ye bequeath the administration of the earth and her heaven to the earth-born, till she is made suitable as a gift from my hand? Now hear me, O my sons and daughters. 5 great divisions of the earth have I made, and they have all been inhabited over and tilled by mortals. Yea, on all the Devi scions of the earth have there been great cities and nations, and men and women of great learning. 15. And as oft as they are raised up in light, so are they again cast down in darkness, because of the great desire of the spirits of the dead to return back to the earth. These druhas return to mortals and fasten upon them as fetals or as familiars, and inspire them to evil. Go now to the earth, O my beloved, and find the division of the earth where most these druhas congregate, for I will uproot their stronghold, I will break them from their haunts, and they shall no longer carry my people down to destruction. 16. And now the council deliberated, and after a while caused the records of the earth and her atmosphere to be examined, and they discovered that the heaven of the land of Oahspe was beyond redemption because of the great numbers of the spirits of the Can-Nebels and of the multitude of fetals. It was as if a disease in the flesh be healed over externally, leaving the root of the disease within. So was Oahspe and her heaven. The redemption of the cycles remained not with her, but evil broke out forever in a new way. 17. So JEHOVIH said, Now will I prune the earth and her heaven. Behold, the division of Oahspe shall be hewn off and cast beneath the waters of the ocean. Her heaven shall be no longer tenable by the spirits of destruction, for I will rend the foundation thereof and scatter them in the winds of heaven. And 18. Go ye, therefore, down to the earth and provide nets and vanches for receiving the spirits of darkness, and for receiving the spirits of mortals who shall perish in the waters. Provide ye a place in my exalted heavens suitable for them, and ye shall wall them about in heaven that they cannot escape, but that they may be weaned from evil. 19. And when ye are come to the earth and its heavens, acquaint my God and his lords with my decree. And say to them, Thus saith JEHOVIH, Behold, I will sink the land of Oahspe beneath the waters of the ocean, and her heaven will I carry away to a place in my firmament, where she shall no longer engulf my people in darkness. And JEHOVIH saith, Go thou, O God of heaven, and thou, O Lord of Oahspe, down to my chosen, the Iahans, and say to them, Thus saith the Great Spirit, Behold, I will sink the lands of the earth beneath the ocean, because of the evil of the spirits of darkness. Hear me, O my chosen, and heed my commandments. Fall to 655 Oahspe. All hands, and build ships in all places, even in the valleys and on the mountains, and let my faithful gather together within the ships, for my hand is surely stretched over the earth. 20. And ye shall also proclaim unto the earth and her heaven that from the first, even in the ancient days, I proclaimed my 3 worlds unto all people, which are my Korke 3EO firmament with countless worlds of their kind for the dwelling places of those that rose in the third resurrection. 21. And I sent from the exalted heavens down to the lower heavens, and to the earth, also, my holy angels, over whom I appointed gods and lords in the majesty of my dominions. And they came proclaiming these things in my name, teaching both mortals and Etheria, periphery of the earth's vortex. This line was called by the ancients the bridge of Shanvat. All within this area is called atmospheria. The center is the earth, 1, 1, 1, 0, the ocean. 1, 2, 3, represent atmospherine plateau. The O, with a line through it, represents atmospherine oceans. Boreal worlds and the lower heavens that belong thereto, and my Etherian heavens which are in the firmament above. And I said, the first glory is of the earth, whereon is paradise when man obeyeth my commandments, and the second glory, which is greater than the first, I created for the spirits of the dead, but I bound the lower heaven to the earth that it might travel therewith, that the communion of the dead with the living might add a glory unto both. But the upper heaven I made the highest of all glories, and I filled the Etherian spirits how to live that they might rise and inherit my illuminated worlds. 22. And because man was without knowledge, my gods and lords appointed certain masters of generations, who were Ethereans of great wisdom, to abide with mortals and inspire such marriages as would best promote spiritual growth from the start. And there came forth amongst all people toin ones capable of Sargis and Suis, and they heeded the commandments of my gods and lords, forsaking evil and striving to serve the Spirit, choosing me above all things. Wherefore I chose them also, and called them Iahans. 23. For as much as they commenced putting away self and serving me whilst they were yet in corpore, so are they not born in the spirit world before their full time. And even so are others not of full birth who have not in the corporeal form begun to triumph in spirit over their own flesh. 24. JEHOVIH said, Go forth, O my sons and daughters, and prune my vineyard. 25. Beseech my God of the earth and his lords with him, to gather together all the angels of the earth, from east to west and from north to south, to the land of Waga bring them. 26. My Etherian ships of fire shall surround Waga on every side. And I will cut loose 66 synopsis of 16 cycles. 6. The foundations of the earth, at the borders of the ocean and the mountains of Gone, nor shall any prop or cornerstone stay my hand. And I will send rains and winds and thundering, and the waters of the great deep shall come upon the lands, and the great cities shall go down and be swallowed in the sea. 27. And the rich valleys of Mai, with her 1,000 cities, shall be rent with the madness of men and women fleeing before the waters of the ocean. And women and children shall fall by the way and be drowned, and men shall go down in the water and rise not. 28. And the wide plains of Og, with her 1,000 cities, and with the great capital of Penj, and the temples of Ku, and Bart, and 67 Gone, and Sang, shall sink to rise no more. And in the deluge, the air of heaven shall be filled with the screaming and wailing of millions of mortals going down to destruction. 29. I will rescue them from darkness. I will carry them to Ajan regions which I previously created for spirits of darkness, and I will appoint over them gods and goddesses to teach them of me in my kingdoms. 30. And the earth and her heavens shall take a new start amongst my habitable worlds. 31. Thus have I provided labor for my high-raised angels in the places I created, saith JEHOVIH. End of the synopsis of Heavenly Records. Book of APH, son of JEHOVIH. Being the heavenly records of APH, son of JEHOVIH, and of his companion, Nania, daughter of JEHOVIH, as pertaineth to the submersion of the continent of Waga afterward called Pan, signifying earth. And this period was commonly called the deluge, or flood of waters. In chapter I, end the time of the world 24,000 years before the Cosman era, the great serpent solar phalanx being in the air of Noe, in the Etherian heavens, and of the sum of Hautangia 87, the earth and her heavens were in great darkness. But the Spirit of JEHOVIH moved upon his high-raised God, APH, in Etheria, to consecrate new dominions on the earth and her heavens. APH said, 2. I, APH, son of JEHOVIH, God in the ark of Noe, in sum of Haut, in Etheria, came to Hada, heaven of the red star, in JEHOVIH's name. His wisdom, power and love, manifested in mine own resurrection, to become companion to gods and goddesses and Orient chiefs on the thrones of high heaven, proclaim. 3. To the atmospherine spirits of the earth, and to the spirits of the first, second and third resurrections, abiding on the earth, are near thereto, either with mortals or without, to their God and Lords, and to their Savior, and to all holy ones by Jehovah raised up for the redemption of men and angels, the Lord's first book. Being cotemporaneous with the book of APH, son of JEHOVIH. And as the latter is of heaven, so is the Lord's book of the earth. For which reason one book is placed above the other. He chapter I. The history of the flood. Hear me, O man, I am the Lord, the God of earth, son of Jehovah. I am one of thine elder brothers. I, thy Lord, with my brother lords and gods, in the name of Jehovah, speak, saying, 2. Peace and patience be unto all men, that ye may comprehend my words, and bear witness that heaven and earth in every part is Jehovah's, and that all men and women are his sons and daughters, worlds without end. 3. As over mortal kingdoms, kings, as over empires, emperors, as over armies, generals, so hath Jehovah in his heavens crowned coin chieftains for times and places, and given to them certain names, whereby they have been proclaimed to men and angels, so that the discipline of heavens might manifest the glory and dominion of Jehovah. 4. In all time, honored in high heaven, and known to the people on the earth as Jehovah is Lord, commander of heavenly light on earth, and pacificator betwixt all light and all darkness, and entitled Lord of earth and Lord God, so have I and my predecessors, and my successors, been handed down for thousands of years amongst mortals. 5. Whereas, if it be said, the king said 68. Book of APH, son of JEHOVIH. 4. In the ark of Noah came to me the voice of Jehovah, creator of worlds, saying, 5. I am the all-highest. My service extendeth forever. I go not, but I am afar. I come not, and yet I am near. My voice is in all places. The light of the soul of man heareth me. I speak in the vine that creepeth, and in the strong standing oak. 6. Hearth voice of your Creator, O ye angels of heaven. Carry ye the wisdom of my utterance down to mortals. Call them to the glories of the heavens and the broad earth. Behold, my voice is in the rocks, and in the wind that bloweth, and in all things that have not tongues. 7. Show them my suns and stars in the firmament above, for they are my written words. My voice proceedeth in the space of heaven, the wise angels of my exalted places hear the sound going forth. Hearken to my speech, O ye spirits of the dead, proclaim me, O ye gods and goddesses. 8. They look for me as they look for things, they hearken for my voice as for a man's voice. And they find me not, nor hear that which I have spoken. Yet none can efface my words, my wisdom endureth forever. Behold, I come not as a sound to the ear, my voice hieth into the soul from all sides. The Lord's first book. Thus, and generations after if it be said, the king said thus, and all men know it was not the same man, but was nevertheless the king, so also proclaim I, the Lord, my predecessors and successors, for all of them were, and have been the Lord. 6. Wherefore, I, the Lord, by virtue of my own authority, and in Jehovah's name, proclaim the light and the darkness of the past, for inasmuch as I have been exalted by the Father, so are ye all in waiting for your turn in the heavens above to become lords and gods and goddesses. 7. To draw your souls up in heavenly aspirations, to become one with the Father in righteousness and good works, sendeth Jehovah his sons and daughters, down to the earth, revealing the glory of his kingdoms in the ethereal worlds. 8. But because of the darkness of man's soul, man setteth up to mock the words of his Lord, saying, How can I become a lord, or a god? Behold, his word hath not been heard, none have written his speech. 9. Was it not so in all times on the earth? 9. Teach them, O ye angels, they look not in the right way, their ears are turned after loud claps and noises. They cry out, Alas, I hear not the voice of Jehovah, he hath not spoken, his voice hath no man heard, he is the all-silent, and dumber than the things he created. 10. They have turned away from my God and my Lord's, in conceit and darkness have they shut themselves up. They have peopled the air of the earth about with spirits of darkness, the druhas of men of darkness and canny bowels. Their fetals float back upon them, like devouring vermin they burrow deep in pollution. 11. Remember them, O God, my son, and ye, my lords of earth. Have no pity, but be as a surgeon's knife upon them. Thou hast told them, O God, Jehovah liveth and reigneth, his voice standeth the all-highest. But they have mocked thee and thy lords, and turned away after iniquity. 12. They are fearful lest they believe in my person and my voice, of their own gabble they have no fear. They criticize me and my God and my lords, but they own that they know me not. They suppose my exalted heavens are without order and discipline, my captains, and because of this darkness amongst men, they have laid bare the iniquity of their own hearts. For out of the mouths of my chosen, who utter my words, come words of truth and love and wisdom and kindness, and the exaltation of virtue. But from those who deny me, come corruption, war, avarice, and the love of earthly things for self's sake. 10. Behold, they have quibbled about words and the meaning of words. 1 saith, how much of this came from the Lord, and how much from the prophet? Making of themselves mathematicians on a matter separate from the subject of the righteousness of their own souls, which lieth at the bottom of God's desires. 11. Are not all words at best but pictures and paintings of the Spirit that findeth them? And whether the captain, Lord, of his private angel carry the light to the prophet, what mattereth it to the man or woman who seeketh to serve Jehovah by doing good works? 12. Some have said, behold, I have given all I had to the poor, and I rise early and visit the sick, and in the night I sit up with them, and I gather up orphans and helpless ones, and make them so joyous of heart they thank 6:9-3 Oahspe. They ignore, and the teachings of my holy ones are criticized by men of straw. 13. Have they not said, who is God, that I should adore? And the Lord, that I should hearken? But I turn their eyes to the armies of earth, to the general and the captain. Then they say, ah, our affairs on earth are office read and disciplined, we reverence our highest, great captains. 14. Shall they turn God away, and the Lord? What shall the Creator do to please them? Is not the name of my general, God, and my captain, Lord, my own creation? Who found the name of God and the name of the Lord? Why are they not pleased with my gods and my lords? 15. Hear me, O ye Etherian gods and goddesses, they desire not wisdom and resurrection. Their love lieth in darkness. To eat, to sleep, and to devour are the delights of their souls. The first lesson of life they have not learned, the first heaven of the earth is to them the all of the created worlds. 16. Hear my judgment upon them, O ye, my holy angels, and long risen. For I have raised them up again and again, I have founded lower heavens for them that they might learn, but they fall the moment my gods leave them alone. The Lord's, first book. Jehovah they are created into life. Now, verily, all men know that such behavior cometh from them that recognize my word, whether it come from the mouth of a babe or the pen of a fool. 13. Who, then, shall not find delight in the word of the Lord? Know they not that I am the same today, yesterday, and forever? And in judgment why will they not perceive that my word cometh as well now as in the olden time? 14. Behold, I am not for one man only, nor for one woman, nor for one book, but wherever the light of wisdom and the desire for virtue and holy deeds shine, there will my speech manifest. Is not Jehovah wide as the universe, and immutable? And to be in harmony with him, is this not the sum of all wisdom? 15. Therefore, if thy Lord, or thy God, hath attained to be one with the Father, and he come in dominion on the earth, with his millions of angels, who also know the higher light, and ye are inspired by them to do Jehovah's will, what discussion shall man have against heaven or its representatives? 17. Now will I carry away their heaven and earth, and they shall be seen no more forever. But the Druhas and Fetils shall be carried to Hauchuan and cast into walls of fire. And they shall be divided up into groups, kin shall be torn away from kin, and friend from friend, and mother from daughter, and father from son, for they are become as absorbents, sucking one another continually. 18. And the walls of the fire shall go up around them without ceasing, and they shall not escape. And they that guard them shall keep them from one another, that they shall do no evil. Neither shall they sleep nor rest, but be stirred up and made to know that they are alive, and can exist independent of fetal sucking. 19. Hear my voice, O God, and command thy Lord to proclaim on the earth. Have I not made an example before mortals? Behold the carrion that rotteth in the field. Is it not the feast of the hyena, the wolf and the buzzard? Do not worms come to life therein and turn to and devour the carcass that brought them forth? 20. What more is the earth, Pan, to these spirits of evil and darkness? What more is their first heaven than a place of perpetual 16? I declare freedom unto all men in Jehovah's name, but with freedom I also give the experience of the lords of earth. Suffer therefore my prophets on all hands to embellish the pictures of the past in their own way, and as far as the pictures fortify faith in JEHOVIH and his works, and his power and his glory, be ye circumspect to desire nourishment therefrom. And rather than destroy that which is given in the name of JEHOVIH, go ye, and fall to work in like manner to build up his light in your own way. 17. Herein is wisdom, for they that strive for the light of my dominion shall receive my angels in my name, and by the words they find to express my commandments shall they be known to be of me. 18. All words came from the Lord your God, by him was man made upright on the earth. As the first race went down into the earth, the second man rose up by my angels, becoming like unto lords and gods, and capable of knowing good and evil. 19. But as the light of a full-grown man differeth from that of a child's, so, in different degree, was the light of men, and those with the higher light were called faithists. Hins 70 Book of APH, son of JEHOVIH. 4. Devouring. Have they not made it a place of everlasting destruction? They visit their evils upon mortals. The young child cannot escape them, nor the middle-aged, nor the old man nor old woman. 21. The heavenly kingdoms founded by gods and lords have become pest houses for druhas and fiedels. There is no place left for founding the upright and virtuous in heart. 22. Are my gods and lords servants to an evil world? And shall they find only rottenness to deal with? Now have I answered in the firmament of my holy sons and daughters. I have called them from remote places in heaven to witness the work of my hand. For as I made the earth and its heaven, so rule I over it to the same end for which I created it. 23. When they are short of my measure, I lengthen them out. When they run foul, I prune them to my own liking, for they are mine. Behold, the fool hath said, JEHOVIH hath made a failure. Behold, the Creator created a world for a certain purpose, but it run foul of his mark. 24. Hear me, O God, and through thy lords answer thou him in his conceit. Did I not quicken man into life in mine own way? At zero created I him, and I said, two roads have the lords, first book. Because they perceived that wisdom shaped all things and ruled to the ultimate glory of the All-One, but those of the lesser light were called Cain, the Druck, because their trust was more in corporeal than in spiritual things. 20. And the faithists were also called the chosen people, because they chose God, who is Lord over corpore, but the Cainites, the Drucks, were classed as enemies of the Lord, because they sacrificed by means of war and death that which JEHOVIH made alive. And these two peoples have lived on the earth from the first, and even to this day. 21. And I, the Lord, son of JEHOVIH, gave a certain commandment to man, saying, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy soul, thy wisdom and strength. But man had little strength in this matter, neither did I ask for more than he could give. And another commandment was, Thou shalt not kill, the which had man obeyed, there had been no war in the world. 22. In like manner gave I the light of heaven unto all men, but my enemies perverted my words in order to justify themselves in sin. I made, O man, one leadeth to everlasting light, and the other to everlasting darkness. 25. Now have I shown him the darkness, it is my witness, whereby man knoweth my word is all truth. Wherefore, then, should I not create the world, and man, and angels, that go down in everlasting darkness? Is it not by darkness and pain I push man forward? Yea, the conceited man would fail himself but for the failures I set up before him. Wherefore, then, have I not created wisely? 26. Have I not a right to do mine own way? Are not all things mine? If a man die in the corporeal part, is he a failure? How else could man rise to my ethereal worlds? Open his eyes, O my God and my lords. He was not, and I created him. He presumeth to look into my plans and judgments, by his little learning he exalteth his conceit and pretendeth to know all things. 27. I cause the grain to grow in the field, and the day before it is ripe I send wind and rains and destroy it utterly. I bring forth man with shapely limbs and strong arms, but in the day of his prime I cut him down. I gave the passion of love to the mother, but I take away her firstborn. 28. Know I not that first of all things, man for the Father so dwelleth in man, that man can judge of truth and holiness. For if one man saith, the Lord said, Thou shalt not kill, and yet another man saith, the Lord saith, Thou shalt kill, then shall not any man mistake which is of the Lord in fact. For the Lord maketh not alive any man whom he desireth shall be killed. 23. Thus was my word perverted by man, and the little light which was not lost, man tried to obscure. Nevertheless, man multiplied and inhabited the earth over, building cities and nations and prospering in certain seasons in all things earthly. But as I came to the earth to develop the soul of man chiefly, and for his own ultimate happiness in the Etherian worlds, I labored not with such as heeded me not, but suffered them to go on in their own conceit, and they became divided against one another, and war and pestilence and divers diseases came upon mortals, resulting in their further downfall. 24. And the spirits of those that denied me on earth, still denied me in heaven, and in their stubbornness and conceit continued to dwell with man on the earth. So that in the course of time the world was overrun by spirits 7:1, 5 Oahspe. Shall be taught to know my power, and after that my wisdom. Have they seen the places of the dead, and hell and destruction? Teach them, O God, for their ultimate resurrection is my glory and my delight. 29. Shall man of earth say, the Creator was angry, and so sent the land beneath the ocean? He hath not wisdom to comprehend that this day I cast out hell and destruction. The drudge is his love, and, as vampires, they feed on each other to the ruin of both. 30. But I know what is for their own good, and my decree hath gone forth. I, chapter 2. Aph, son of JEHOVIH, high dwelling in the Etherian worlds, and oft trained in the change and tumult of corporeal worlds, answered JEHOVIH, saying, 2. Father of worlds, JEHOVIH, Almighty, thy Son and servant hath heard thy voice. Behold, my head is bowed, my knee bent to rush forth with 1,000,000,000 force to the suffering earth and Hada. 3. Hear me, O angels of the earth's heaven, from JEHOVIH's everlasting kingdoms I speak, the Lord's, first book. Of darkness, who knew not heaven. And it came to pass that my enemies slew my chosen on all hands. 25. In 4 great divisions of the earth, in Vohu, in Jud, in Thori and in Dis, see Seth Antes, chapter 2, v. 28. They left few alive of the Iahan race. In Waga Pan had I a remnant, and they were scattered far and near, and in separate places hiding away from their evil pursuers. 26. I had said unto them, every living thing that groweth up out of the ground shall be food for you, but of everything wherein is the breath of life, which is of blood and spirit, ye shall not eat. Whoso sheddeth blood, wherein is life, by himself inviteth his own blood and spirit to the spoil. In likeness of God was man made heir of the earth and all things thereon. 27. Be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in remembrance of the Lord God of heaven and earth. 28. And I gave the circumcision as a Maas ewer of the boundary of my chosen. 29. But there were giants druks in those. And by his power reveal. Again his voice coursed the high heavens along where angels dwell, older than the earth. JEHOVIH said, 4. Hear me, O ye chieftains, of Ur and of Ut, and in the plains of Gibrathadova. Proclaim my word to thy hosts of swift messengers of Wakawak and Beliathan and Dor, and they shall speed it abroad in the Ajan mounds of Mentabra and Cax of Go. 5. Hear my voice, O ye goddesses of Ho, Itavi and of Vavianaram in the Etherian arcs of Faz and Liege, and Omaza. Proclaim my decrees of the red star and her heavens in the crash of her rebellious sides, for I will harvest in the forests of Seth and Raim. 6. Hear my voice, O ye homonconsotes, of millions of years standing, and managers of corporeal worlds. I have proclaimed the ooze and hiss of the red star in her pride and glory. Send word abroad in the highway of Plumpgo to the great high gods, Meantif in the Etherian vortices of Bane, and to Rome and to Nishodoza and Duji. 7. Hear me, O ye Orion kings and queens of thousands of millions of gods and goddesses, I have spoken in the cavorcum of the great serpent of the sun. A wave of my breath speedeth forth in the broad firmament. Days and in time after that, and my chosen came unto them, and they bare children to them also. And their flesh became corrupt, so that vermin inhabited them from the time of their birth to the time of death. And they became rotten in the head with catarrh, and in the throat with ulcers and running sores, and in the lungs and joints with the poison of death. And their offspring that was born unto them came forth afflicted with the sins of their fathers and mothers, to linger in misery or to die in infancy. 30. And they thus peopled heaven with untimely births and with spirits of darkness, who, in return, came back and re-afflicted mortals. 31. And I said, I will destroy man from the face of the earth, for the flesh of man is corrupt, for by the eating of flesh and unwise cohabitation hath he corrupted his race upon the earth. 32. And I, the Lord, called unto my chosen, who were persecuted and hidden away in the valleys and mountains, even on the tops of the mountains, in the land of Pan. 33. And I said unto them, because ye have kept my commandments, come forth. And 72 Book of Aph, son of Jehovih. 6. The red star fleeth toward the point of my whetted sword. 8. Proclaim my voice in the Orient fields of Amal and Wawa. Let the clear-tongued shepherds of Zuyas, and Burk, and Gaub, and Damphariana, fly with all speed in the road of Axiah, where first the red star's vortex gath erred up its nebulae, millions of years agone, and on the way say, JEHOVIH hath decreed a pruning knife to a traveling world. 9. Shouted abroad in the crystal heavens of the summering lords of Wakandi and Mago and Utah, call them to the red star speeding forth. Lo, she skippeth as a lamb to be shorn, her coming shock leath slumbering low. Let them carry the sound of my voice to the Jaion swamps of exploded works, boiling in the roar of elements, where wise angels and gods explore to find the mystery of my handiwork. 10. Tell them I have spoken, and the earth and her heavens near the troughs in the Ethrine seas of my rich-yielding worlds. I will scoop her up as a toy, and her vortex shall close about like a serpent hungry for its prey. Proclaim it in Thessa and Kau and Tinwick, Whack, and send them to Gitchepham of Janak and Dun. The Lord's first book. Hear ye the word of the Lord your God. And they came forth from their hiding places, thousands and thousands of them. And I sent my angels unto them, saying, 34. Say ye unto my chosen, this is the word of the Lord your God, ye have found favor in my sight, for ye alone of all that is on the earth have kept my commandments, and ye have seen righteousness in the seed of your generations. 35. Go to, therefore, and build ships sufficient unto my chosen, and get ye within, where none can pursue or destroy. 36. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth, even above the highest mountains, for I will destroy the corruption thereof, and purge it of all uncleanness. 37. Take ye, therefore, of all food that is good to eat, and gather it into the ships, for the flood shall remain 150 days, and ye shall not come forth and find wherewith to eat. 38. And the angels of the Lord went to the faithists in God and inspired them to build ships, both in the valleys and on the mountains. 11. Hear me, O ye Chrysohelmats Holdic, who have witnessed the creation of many worlds and their going out. Open your gardens and your mansions, the seine of my fishing pole is stretched, countless millions of druhas and fetals will fall into my net. My voice hath gone forth in Chemagau, and Lu and Abroth, and Weedavi, and cuts of moss in the wide Etherian fields of Raduxki. 12. Haleb hath heard me, Borg, Home, Z and Luth, of the Orion homestead, and Shore, whence emanate the central tones of music, from goddesses older than the corporeal worlds. To them the crash of worlds is a note created, and is rich in stirring the memory with things long past. 13. I have spoken, and my breath is a floating world, my speech is written in the lines where travel countless millions of suns and stars, and in the midst of the Etherian firmament of the homes of gods. Let them shout to the ends of the universe, invite them in my name to the Haiden of Maucabeonajau. 14. Around about in the place of the great serpent send swift messengers with the words of my decree, bring the lords and gods of Wan and Anna and Anakern and Sith. 15. Call up God and Adania and Edisai, for 2 whole years builded they them, and then they were completed. 39. And the angels of heaven numbered the ships, and there were of them 138. And the ships stood on the mountains and in valleys, nowhere near the waters stood one of all the ships that had been built. 40. And the earth stood in the ark of Noé in the firmament of heaven, in the place and grade of 600 in the Ajan roads, 24,000 years before Cosman. 41. And the Lord commanded the chosen to go into the ships, and they went in, and in the same day the gates of heaven and earth were opened. 42. And the earth rocked to and fro, as a ship at sea, and the rains fell in torrents, and loud thunderings came up from beneath the floor of the world. And the sea came up on the land, first upon the valleys and then upon the mountains, so that the ships floated on the waters. 43. But the land was swallowed up, valleys and mountains, and all the living perished, save the Lahins, who floated off in the ships. 44. And the Lord said, I numbered them that were saved, and there were 12,737 Oahspe. And Onzi and the hosts of the upraised, for the pastime of JEHOVIH's sons and daughters in the high heavens draweth near. Chapter 3. Ye angels, of Hada of the red star, and thou, O God, and ye lords, upraised and mighty, with hosts, countless, and quick and swearing the thoughts of mortals, hear the words of Aph, son of JEHOVIH, Oahspe. 2. When I was in the Orion ark of Noe, and the red star passed the Utswaldi ark, in the Etherian group of Vor, the voice of JEHOVIH came to me, saying, Go thou, my son, deliver the earth. Take with thee all whom I may send. 3. And I examined the records of the stars of heaven, and of the earth, and the accounts of JEHOVIH's harvests, and I perceived the bondage and labor of the red star were of the 7th magnitude in the advance of habitable worlds. 4. When his voice called the legions in high heaven, from every side, and below and above the earth, there moved myriads of shapely stars, which were ships of fire, coursing to the Lord's. First book. Sand 420, and these were descendants of the first race of man that walked on 2 feet. 45. Behold, I will carry them to all the divisions of the earth, and people it anew with the seed of my chosen. 46. And JEHOVIH blew his breath upon the ships of his sons and daughters, blew them about upon the ocean, blew them to the east and west and north and south. 47. By the will of God were the ships congregated into 4 fleets, 34 ships into each fleet, save 2 ships which were carried in a fleet to themselves. 48. The Lord said, I will name the fleets of my chosen, and their names shall be everlasting on the earth. And the Lord named them Watama, Shem, Japheth, Ham and Yista. 49. The Lord said, From these, my seed, will I people the earth over in all the divisions thereof. And that after generations, for thousands of years, may know the work of my hand, behold, I give them a sign, which is my covenant to them and their heirs forever. 50. Which is my crescent, in the form of a firmament, whereon rode the gods and goddesses called by JEHOVIH to the labor of earth and Hada. 5. Closing in on every side they came, and nearer and more compact, and brighter, with sparkling pillars of fire, and down swaying curtains of light, till all the space around about the earth was hedged in with this army of JEHOVIH's Etherian ships of fire. 6. Again I heard the Father's voice, saying, O Aph, my Son, my Holy One, hearken to the voice of JEHOVIH, Creator of gods and goddesses. 7. Behold, I send my son, Neph, to the red star, with wisdom and power. Long hath he been gone, long struggling with the black darkness of men and angels. 8. As a valiant soldier rusheth into the heaviest part of battle, and forgetteth himself in desperate contest, but ceaseth not to struggle on against all odds, even so for 3,000 years hath my God, Neph, hoped to save the whole limbs of the earth, the continents. 9. From my holy place have I watched the battle for everlasting life, but the too prolific earth contributeth more to the corporeal than to the spiritual man. And I bring my legions to the rescue of my valiant son, Neph. Send rainbow, and whatsoever people bear this, my sign, shall be as a remembrance to me of my covenant. Nor shall they be destroyed from the inheritance which I have given unto them. 51. And the chosen looked out of their ships, and the sky was clearing, and a rainbow shone in the firmament, and by the light thereof the land was found, whither the Lord brought his people. 52. And in 150 days from the beginning of the flood, the ships were brought into their respective places, as the Lord designed them, so landed they in the different countries of the world. 53. The fleet named Watama was carried to the eastward, and the country whither it landed was also called Watama. 2. The Lord said, From this place shall my chosen spread out north and south. But they shall not inhabit the lands to the east or west as far as the sea, for they shall be testimony in time to come of this landing place from the continent of Pan. 54. God said, Suffer my people to bestow names to the places whither I lead them, for these names shall show in the cosmon era the work of my hand done in this day. 74 Book of Aph, son of Jehovih. 8 Thou to him, O Aph, my son. Proclaim to him and his lords, and to his Ethereans, my just decrees. Aph said, 10. And I sent swift messengers down to Haddah, informing Neph, son of JEHOVIH, of the march and presence of gods, and of the decree of the Father, and I added thereunto, saying, O Neph, son of JEHOVIH, come hither, bringing thy hosts with thee. 11. Presently Neph answered me in JEHOVIH's name, saying, O Aph, son of JEHOVIH, I come. My prayers are answered. All praise to the All-Highest. 12. Then we saw, making ready in Haddah, preparatory to ascending, the ship of Neph and his faithful hosts, and that which was seen from my place was also seen by the myriads of JEHOVIH's vessels surrounding the earth. And my place became as a central throne to which the hosts now made speed, swift and orderly. 13. And in the time they came, also rose up the ship of Neph from Haddah. Meanwhile, my ship rested on the borders of Shinvat, in the Shut of Hine, and from the moon 7 Agus. 14. Again the voice of JEHOVIH came to me, saying, My son, make fast thy ship, for thy the Lord's. First Book. 55. The fleet of 2 ships carried to the north was named Yista, which in the Waga tongue was Zaopan, which is the same country that is to this day called Japan, signifying, relic of the continent of Pan, for it lay to the north, where the land was cleaved in twain. 56. And the Lord said to them, Behold, 8 Hiden shall come, and ye shall be as a key to unlock the labors of heaven, for of all people ye shall be reckoned the oldest in the world. And until I come and unlock the sea, ye shall remain an exclusive people from all tribes and nations. 57. Preserve ye, therefore, the names of my rites and ceremonies, and especially the names of land and water, and the firmament above, and ships that plow the water, and all sounds whatever that man maketh in the throat and without the tongue and lips, for in the time of my glory on the earth ye shall also be glorified. Preserve ye also peace and righteousness and industry, for ye shall be a testimony in the later time of the presence of my hand and of the Great Spirit also. Thus was settled Japan, and it continueth to this day. Place shall be the head of the army of my hosts. And let thy consorts extend in a line from thy place down to the earth, for this shall be the delivery of them whom I shall cut off. 15. So I made fast, and my messengers has 10 to the concentrating forces of heaven, informing the Etherian groups on JEHOVIH's ships of his commandments. And now came Neph, his ship rose up, filled with his long laboring hosts. And I greeted him and said unto him, By the power and wisdom of JEHOVIH, the continent of Waga is to be cut loose and submerged, and her heavens carried away. Return thou to the earth and bring all the spirits of darkness from all the divisions of earth and heaven to Waga, that I may carry them away. Then Neph and his hosts viewed the imposing scene and returned back to earth. 16. Quickly, now, the ships of fire formed in line, extending from my place down to Haddah, where rested Neph and his lords of the earth, whose hosts extended to all the divisions of land and water, embracing the various heavenly kingdoms previously built by the lords. 17. And in the line of the Etherian ships were stationed the plateau of rank, and the hosts of gods and goddesses took their places according to the rank of wisdom, power and 58. The fleet named JAFFETH was driven to the westward and north, and the country was called Japheth for thousands of years thereafter, and is the same as is called Chinia to this day. 59. The fleet named Shem landed to the south, and the country was called Shem for thousands of years afterward, and is the same as is called Vindhya, India, to this day. 60. The fleet named Ham landed southwest, and the country was called the land of Ham for thousands of years, and is the same as is called Egypt and Africa to this day. 61. God said, Behold, my chosen shall manifest many signs and words common to one another in these different divisions of the earth. 62. They shall remember the flood. 63. They shall repudiate idols, but worship the Great Spirit, JEHOVIH. 64. They shall have the crescent. 65. They shall have the triangle. 66. They shall preserve the 4 days of the change of the moon as sacred days, and they shall be called mass moons days, Sabbaths. 67. They shall be circumcised. 68. They shall remember the 7 tetracts. 759 Oahspe. Love manifested in the Etherian departments whence they came, with the 2 Orient chiefs at either extremity. 18. And I divided the line into sections, each with 250 ships, and there were 1,000 sections. And every ship was contracted 10,000-fold, which was the force required to break the crust of the earth and sink a continent. 19. Along the line I stationed sentinels and tailmen, and messengers, without number, so that JEHOVIH's voice and his sons' voices could traverse in a moment of time to every part. And after that I formed the tube of transit, which extended in front of the ships, and from the earth to beyond Shinvat, and I filled it with the earth's atmosphere to the extreme, whither it joined Oahspe, whither I determined to deliver the druhas and fetals of such as were to perish in the ocean of the earth. 20. For every 10 sections I appointed 100 marshals and 1 god, and for every 10 gods 1 chief in emutes, according to their rank in the heavens whence they came, so appointed I them. These, then, are the chief emutes, to wit, 21. Agar, of the order of Achav, son of the Lords, first book. Dibbah, the enticing evil, Ra, the flesh evil, Zimmah, the joking evil, Belyyaal, worthlessness, Avain, vanity, Anish, delight in destruction, Satan, desire for leadership, which is the captain of death. 69. They shall have 3 great lights. Or, the all-highest, God, son of Lord Adonai, executor of heaven and earth. 70. They shall have 3 less lights. God's angels and lords, the prophets, the Rabbibahs. 71. They shall have 3 representative symbols of light, the sun, the moon and the burning flame. 72. The Lord said, and my chosen shall use these lights and symbols, signs and seasons in all the divisions of the earth whither I have settled them. 73. And in the Cosman era I will come and show them the framework of my building which I raise up to the Almighty. 74. God said, now was the world of 1 language and 1 speech, in all the places of my people spake they alike, man to man. 75. Nevertheless, in all parts of the earth there lived ground people, who were black and JEHOVIH, in bewitch, from the corporeal star Godad, raised in Ben of Agi, 70, of 700,000 years inhabitant of Gon. 22. Hoagi, son of JEHOVIH, Marshawan of Haddam and Ag, nebulae 4 in Petrath, swift messenger of Jun, of the corporeal star Alanx, of 1,200,000 years inhabitant of Rothwak in Joys. 23. Phisahumatavi, daughter of JEHOVIH, Gia and Udzalon in Kea, goddess of In, goddess of Ad, governess of Walwal, of the corporeal star Terwig, and of the plains of Exwer and Goan, in the Etherian ark of Labis, of 1,300,000 years. 24. Hyada, daughter of JEHOVIH, and nurse of Huayanbak, in 57, Agi, of the corporeal star Heats, a milkmaid, goddess of Luf, goddess of the plateau of Obam, in Etheria, rank 90, and of 2 millions of years inhabitant of Nud and Ix. 25. Genleps, son of JEHOVIH, god of Ne, god of Aper, god of Dawn, god of Mu, god of Ro, physician of Bo, and of Ir, and of Janur, marshal of Kut and Oblin of Sherer, in Etheria, of the Ajin field of Du, of 700,000 years inhabitant of Onlof and Rictus. Brown, and burrowed in the ground, and they had long arms and curved backs, and were naked and not ashamed, for which reason they were called Drux. 76. The Lord spake unto the chosen, the Hins, saying, behold the earth. I give it to you, to be yours forever. 77. Mingle ye not with the Drux, for they are without understanding and are not heirs to everlasting life. 78. Now, many inquired of the Lord, saying, if these, having no understanding, be not heirs to everlasting life, how shall it be with our children who die in infancy? 79. The Lord said, this is a matter of the seed, and not of learning. Whosoever is born of my chosen shall inherit my everlasting kingdom. Chapter 2. He Lord said, a wise physician amputateth a diseased limb and so preserveth the trunk to become healed. 2. Saw I not the rankness of the tribes of darkness, the Drux, and that the proceedings of man would render the earth void. 76 Book of Aph, son of Jehovih. 10:26. Neo, god of Lun and Hintiah, god of Morse, and of the Spune, master of Pe and savior of Wohaggai, Agi Plain 7, and risen from the corporeal star Saati, an inhabitant of CERN 1,700,000 years. 27. Sichi, goddess of Nu, in Lutz and Rab, goddess of Bad, goddess of Ture, goddess of Red, Agi 20, from the corporeal star Ithmul, inhabitant of Shuga 1 million of years, inhabitant of Rana 1,200,000 years. 28. Lischikta, goddess of Man, goddess of Hers, goddess of Sam and Nai, weaver of Ultabak and Agimus. Rank 90, raised on the corporeal star Mem, inhabitant of Dasawig and Gabriamati 2,900,000 years. 29. Tusika, goddess of Kol, goddess of Lost and Widowagat, goddess of Due, Jhi in lieu of Magaza, goddess of Ep, goddess of Gek of Henishalonkia, goddess of Tur in the Jayan swamp of Dabakta. 55. Raised on the corporeal sun Nitz, of the serpent Tan, inhabitant of Te, Hitsavi, 2 million years, inhabitant of Pala 1,700,000 years. 30. Phaiti Si, goddess of Lubbock, goddess the Lords, first book. 3. What is all the world if it bring not forth heirs unto everlasting life? 4. Behold, I saw that my chosen had become despoiled on all the divisions of the earth save Pan. And I saw that they who had been their destroyers had in turn nearly exterminated one another. 5. And I saw that to bring the remnants of my people hither, they could again re-establish themselves and become the seed of a mighty people. 6. But, as for the land of Waga Pan, it was already in the throes of death. And the Druks had become as a festering sore, and the spirits of the dead, tens of thousands of millions of them, would not quit their hold on mortals whilst life was on the earth. 7. And I sent my angels around about the whole earth, and gathered in the spirits of darkness, gathered them unto the land of Waga. 8. And when my work was in readiness I raised up my hand, as a surgeon that would lop off a diseased limb, and I cleft asunder the continent of Pan and sunk it beneath the waters. Of Serenia, in Galilo, goddess of Iz, goddess of Serl, goddess of Loklo, goddess of Amavaji, 75, goddess of Warts and Doiwida, goddess of Kreia, goddess of Baku, goddess of Teal and Rositz, goddess of Mutsamuts, goddess of Laeritz of Wukahumhouts, goddess of Bil and Duskawangesel, goddess of Orksa, goddess of Unksut, goddess of Eselwida, goddess of Shine, goddess of Isa, goddess of Ham, goddess of Rakowau and Shudit, goddess of Dong and Gowak, goddess of Fate Tazamal, goddess of Zitiob of the gardens of Zitiobof in Agi 7, surgeon of Hula, surgeon of Bos, surgeon of Rapaya, surgeon of Lumazon, nurse of Pega of Smathe, nurse of Zid, nurse of Lushi, nurse of Home, nurse of Bryathith, queen of Upa, queen of Robga, disciplinarian of Tu, of Kaibasumik, of Tutsamuts, of Berbir, of Sitensky, of Rivia, of Soon, of Hadab, of Fussahouts and Ceres, raised on the star Planza, swift messenger in Bal and Wawa, Lok 500,000 years, swift Mies Senger in Towaka and Runfwat 500,000 years, inhabitant of Terashish 1 million years, inhabitant of the fields of Ni, J 1 million years, inhabitant of Gun 9. And my angels conducted my chosen out of that land, and not one of them perished. 10. I said unto the guardian angels whom I had given to man, in the lands whither I will take my people, let them build mounds and walled cities, with ladders to enter, after the manner of the ancients. In all the divisions of the earth, alike and like shall they build. 11. For in the time of Cosman their relics shall be testimony that the Iahan Ferreran the Iwan, the copper-colored race, in all the world. 12. So also will I, the Lord, provide in the Cosman era to discover the sunken land of Waga, that mortals may comprehend the magnitude of the work of the Lord. 13. In those days the Lahins dwelt not alone, but in cities and villages, and they were clothed. And they tilled the ground and brought forth grains and seeds good to eat, and flax and hemp, from which to make cloth for covering the body. And their food was of every herb and root, and grain and seed, and fruit that cometh of the earth, but they ate not flesh nor fish, nor of anything that breathed the breath of life.